So I am going to apologize again on the upfront for being a fashionably hour late. I had a little bit of a family crisis and I had to address that. But here we are. So, how was everybody's New Year's? Hopefully everybody had a really awesome one. And hopefully everybody was safe and nobody had any real serious issues or anything like that. So, awesome, awesome. I hope everybody had a great, successful New Year's Eve and New Year's Day and going forward. We're only on the what, the third? The third? Yeah, the third. And yeah. So if I'm a little like flabbergasted, I had to deal with the crisis and then I had to like go get ready. So I literally just sat down. But we're here! Yay! And that's something I was going to address on the upfront. What was the tea for today? Let me think. Oh, okay. The tea, as I call it, or what everybody else calls it, I guess. But so I wanted to make one thing perfectly known, that yes, I understand that there is a lot of people that go live on specific times, specific nights, specific whatever. Okay. And you are under no obligation to come to my live streams versus anybody else's. First and foremost, I will not get upset. I will never get mad at a person for not coming to my live stream. It's never going to happen. I don't do this for the necessarily to bulk up a chat room. I do it because a lot of people use it as a motivational tool, which is what it's meant for. Like a lot of people have told me, you know, I didn't catch you on Monday. It's totally fine. It will always be fine. You didn't catch me on Monday. There's a rewatch button. Like you can push play and watch the whole thing. And what I do this for is because these same people are saying, you know, I look forward to your weekly reading because I'm going through this, and you were able to help guide me in that one particular area that I didn't even think about, and or you motivated me past a difficult moment in my week, or in my month or whatever, and that's what I do it for. Not necessarily for the views. They're nice and all. And I thank everybody who does come. Please, I'm not disregarding a single one of you, absolutely not. But if I overlap somebody else, which is always unintentional, but it does happen. You know, we all have lives, and there's only 7 days in the week. So if you're, you know, if somebody else is live or somebody else is premiering or something like that, by all means, go ahead and go. Don't worry about, you know, me. This is kind of like a doctor's checkup, you know, except it's pre-recorded, and you can rewatch it again. So, well, this is a pre-recorded, it's a live, but you can rewatch it. You get what I mean. Anyway, so I just wanted to say that first and foremost, you know, if there's ever a chance that, you know, you're like, oh, I can't be in two places at once, that's okay. I prefer you to go to the other channel and support them, especially if they're having a premiere, because then they get your input and stuff like that in real time, and you can kind of intermingle and do all kinds of stuff there, and that's really good for content creators to know, and you know what you guys like and stuff like that. So welcome all of you back to my glorious channel, my little corner of YouTube, and thank you for clicking that button to come and view me live tonight. I'm always grateful for you guys, but like I said, there's never going to be an obligation for anybody to be here, and I'm never going to get upset if you're not. It's never going to happen. It just, if there was one person here, which would be my fluff, or myself, but if there was only one person here, I would still do the live stream. You know, it's not going to make me uninvested in my channel any more or any less. You know, that's completely up to me to want to be invested in something or not. It's, you know, I don't do this for the applaud of people. I do this for, if it helps you, it helps you. And if it doesn't, okay, you don't have to view anymore. I'm sorry. You can catch me doing the paranormal stuff on my fiance's channel. That may be a better interest for you or not. And if not, there's a lot of other stuff on YouTube. There's a lot. Trust me, there's a lot. Or TikTok. You can try TikTok too. There's a lot of stuff there. I get wrapped up in the slippery slope of TikTok almost nightly. Last night it started off with, I was watching this really cute little girl that was born with dwarfism, and she was talking about how she packed up her essentials in her little kitty backpack, and it was so dang cute, and it led me into undersea creatures. It was the best slippery slope ever, but I didn't get any sleep, so I guess it wasn't that great. But anyway, like I said, you know, never an obligation to be in my lives, you know. But I do appreciate when people come during the week, and all I ask of you is to drop a comment, tell me how it relates to your sign or how it didn't relate to your sign. And you know, that's what, you know, makes it motivational too. Doesn't always have to be in the live stream, in the chat. You know, that's fun. That's for you guys to intermingle, talk about what's going on in your day-to-day life, talk about how maybe the reading relates to your sign. That's for mostly for you guys, because as we all know, I don't pay as much attention to the chat as everybody else. With that being said, we are going to do the readings a little different this week. Mostly because I guess I was drawn to pick up this deck for whatever reason. And it is the Psychic Tarot Oracle. It's the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. Okay, I picked up this deck years ago. And this deck is really cool because it deals with a lot of it has, the cards deal with a lot of stuff that is very intuitive to or it's understanding the intuition of it. So it's, you know, and I'll give you an example. Like this card is power. It talks about your strength and building up that power and stuff like that. Victory and success. And what's cool about these cards, if you're familiar with them, the borders, the different color borders mean different things too. It has like little chunks of meanings, and then the cards mean something specific. So some will deal with mental things, some things will deal with physical things. It's a really cool mashup of tarot and oracle, and I really, really like it. So we're going to use that, and we're also going to use a deck that I just opened, so the Reflective Tarot. What I do is I pull 3 of the oracle tarot cards, and then I clarify them with the smaller cards. You'll sometimes see in the monthly readings that you'll see me with multiple decks. You'll see me lay out the standard spread, and then I'll grab a completely different deck, re-clarify things, and then I'll get advice, and that comes from another deck. So it's proving, kind of a backup plan of like proving to you that I'm not picking and choosing these cards, but also I want to make sure like that new energy is coming in, no cross-contamination energy is coming in, and it's giving you a really, really full-bodied read. Okay? The types of reads you get in the weekly reading are pretty much like a spot clean to the types of readings I would do on a personal level. So when I do a personal read and it's a full read, that's something that can take up to 30 minutes, sometimes up to an hour, depending on the information that comes through. And these, sometimes I spend about, I've noticed, 10 to 15 minutes per sign. So you're getting like a fourth of the action, a third or fourth of the action. But I call these like the spot cleans, and then I call like the larger ones like taking your medicine, that type of things. And these are just like taking vitamins. So with that being said, we are going to start with our wonderful Aries. And I remember one of the things I didn't like about the Psychic Tarot Oracle was that it was a very sticky deck. I think it's the lamination that's on it that is extremely sticky, and sometimes the cards tend to stick together. And I had to cornstarch my deck. And if you're not familiar with that, if you're not really into cards or anything, I had to take a bowl of cornstarch and lightly dust each individual card to kind of break up that stickiness. So I could do that several times with this deck, like 2 or 3 times to get it, and then shuffle it for an entire day. I just sat there and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled this deck to kind of break up and kind of essentially scuff the deck so that it wouldn't be, kind of like when you get shoes and you have to scuff them because they're slippery. Well, these were like kind of the opposite. They were like sticky. So I was trying to create friction on my deck so that it would kind of break up that lamination that was on it. Anyway, enough with the puns, right? Let's get into the reading. Look how pretty this deck is. It's all holographic and it's brand new. Like it's even in perfect order. Like it's in the standard tarot order right now. You guys are literally breaking in my deck right now. So here we go. I haven't even done a review video on this one. I haven't done a review video on a deck in a little bit. I need to. I have like so many decks that I need to like review. It's unreal. But I grabbed this one because I haven't used it yet, and I try not to use more than the same deck more than once in a specific period of time, so that you guys can see different decks and I can give my opinions on them. So this one's going to take a little minute because we want to make sure everything's all mixed up. And to my wonderful moderators, if you see anyone acting a fool, saying anything out of line, be a negative in any way, shape, or form, you go ahead and stick them in the candy-ass corner at any given time. I leave the discretion of what negativity is to all of you. I trust you to be moderators for a reason. So if you see anything that is not so great, not so wonderful, you go ahead and let me know later on. But you take care of it now for me, and we'll address all the other stuff later if we have to. Okay? If it is another moderator that is acting up, because it can happen, we've all seen it, please let Mr. Fluffy know. He can go ahead and log in as me and take care of that as well. Alright? So let us clarify some stuff for the sign of Aries. Alrighty. So for your tarot oracle cards, you have Material Harvest in reverse, Rest and Rejuvenate, and Wisdom. So those are your main focus in this reading. Those are like the chapters in this reading. Like if we were going to go based off chapters in a book, it would be that's the chapter, and the other tarot cards, the clarifiers, are like the content of the chapter. Makes sense? Hopefully it does. Oh, they shuffle really nice. But you guys all know that I like my little tiny decks, because I got little tiny baby hands. Alrighty. Let's clarify this wisdom card for you guys. Alrighty. I'm trying to figure out a way where I can do it to where you guys can actually watch me do all the work on the table and stuff like that, so I can like do a PIP, a picture-in-picture. I gotta figure out which software I need to use for that. I don't know if I can use StreamYard to do that. Well, I mean, I can. I can use 2 different cameras and do it and stuff like that. But I'm not sure how that would look. But I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to find a way so you guys can do the overhead and see the table with the cards and then still talk to me at the same time. But I haven't figured it out yet. I just thought of it today. So, anyway, so the big 3 going on for you, Aries, is you have Material Harvest in reverse, Rest and Rejuvenation, and Wisdom. Material Harvest in reverse. So whatever's going on that you've been trying to manifest, you haven't been able to. And let's go ahead and check out why. You've got the 10 of Wands in reverse, 3 of Wands, and the Chariot in reverse. So you've got what I would see right here is somebody who may have lost a job, may have lost at something, like it ended. So being material harvest is probably something work related, right? Makes sense? With that Three of Wands in the upright, I mean, you probably left a job. Maybe you were put on furlough. Maybe you were, it's end of season, so maybe you had a seasonal dismissal. Anything like that. You're looking to the future, but you're at a standstill right now. So right now it's like you got that Ten of Wands in reverse, all that hard work. Maybe like something just didn't come into fruition. Maybe you walked away from something because it is one of those things where it was a bad investment, or you had to get out of something rapidly. Those are all possibilities. So, okay, that being said, that's happened. Rest and rejuvenate. So right now is the time for you to kind of calm down and reflect what's been going on. Why did this happen? What are you going to do going forward? But if you've got some money put away in savings, right now is a good time for you to kind of just take a break. Let everything die down. You had a maybe you had, if you were a seasonal based worker, you had a very rich season and a lot of work, lots of heaviness, and right now is the time for you to just kind of settle into you and take care of yourself, take care of that one. Thank you. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. So money is the issue. Like you're kind of, what I'm getting from something like this is you're kind of being forced into this rest and rejuvenate. Maybe you didn't want to do it, but it's one of those things where you need to. But taking this rest and rejuvenation time isn't something of like, I'm just going to go on vacation. This is the time for you to figure out what you want to be, what you want to do, where you are going, and start going for that. You have the Empress. It landed on its side. I took it on its side. When I take something on its side, meaning it could either be up or down. I'm dyslexic, so up or down. But, I take it on its side. It's like, it can go either way. So the Empress, that's your motherly card. That's your, going to someone for your, like, basically, you'd be like going back to mommy almost, but not quite like that. It's something in the sense of like, go to where you are, you're comforted. Find your comfort zone in this. It could be female figure, could be somebody who just has feminine energy to you. Because right now you need to take that time to get some options. So it's telling you to kind of take a step back, that step back that you're either going to take, having to take, being told to take, or being forced to take, is going to provide you with the clarity to see options. If you're somebody who's like, I've got some opportunities here. I don't know if I should take them. I had them before. And maybe you need to revisit those options. You need to call up that previous employer or somebody that had offered you a job in the past or something like that, and you didn't take it for this job that you were dismissed from or whatever. Maybe it's now a good time to get on the computer, get in contact with people like, hey, are you still hiring? Hey, is that position still available? Things like that. It's, take this rest time to rejuvenate more than necessarily like living in luxury and being by the, well, nobody's sitting by the pool right now unless you're in like Puerto Rico or something. But if, instead of like sitting there and just kind of like taking it as vacation time, this isn't necessarily vacation. This is more of a time when you would just sit there and rejuvenate yourself, get yourself ready for the next thing. All right, so wisdom. So right now is a time for you to start probably talking to people in your past or in your present. I don't know why I said past. Maybe it is somebody from your past. But, people around you that have garnered wisdom, have been there, done that. Or go to people that are in the direction you wish to go. One of the things that I tell people is if you want to be a millionaire, surround yourself by millionaires. You're going to have people that contradict that and say, oh, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. No, that's what you want to do. Because that's how you manifest. If you believe it and you say it and you do it, it becomes it. So if you're around millionaires and they are self-made millionaires, you probably don't want to be around a millionaire that was born with the silver spoon in his mouth because they have no concept of how to get there. They just understand how to use money and be around money. Makes sense, right? Business people, savvy people. So those are the type of people that are going to be like, I wouldn't be doing that. I'd be doing this. And why? Okay, ask questions. Why would you be doing that? Well, if you want to learn how to work the stock market, you're obviously going to go to people that work the stock market, right? So if these people are like, I wouldn't do that because of this, and they've been there and done that, then makes perfect sense, right? You're leading you know, you're being led by an example, and it's up to you whether you want to take it. Take what advice works for you. Leave everything else. You know, if you're like, yeah, I'm just not going in that direction, that's not for me, that's totally fine. But use what was provided to you. Use the knowledge, use the experience, use what people are gifting to you in the way of like, hey, I did this, it didn't work for me, but you might be able to try it this way. You know, use your brain, use your noggin a little bit. So, Aries, you've got some stuff going on. You've basically been forced into a rejuvenation period via a way of setback. It looks like it's probably something to do with work. But right now is a really good time for you because it is going to give you that chance to gain a wisdom from it. Maybe it's you that's able to sit there and be like, look, I'm going to go look back on my past, look back on where I went, where I don't want to go, and then go from there. And don't repeat the same mistakes. Learn from them. Go forward. Things like that. All right? Sound good? All righty. So, Aries, you got, you know, it sucks having to experience, you know, highs and lows like this, especially when it comes to work and money and things like that. But you know what? It happens to the best of us. It's happened to everybody. And I don't see anything that's like, you know, devastation. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to overcome this situation. You absolutely are. Of course you are. And it looks like you will. Alrighty, Taurus. Taurus. Let's see what we got going on for Taurus for this week. What messages are for Taurus for the week of January 3rd? You'll have to forgive me. My arm is still a little, my back is actually what's really, really sore. So if I'm kind of like leaning forward, leaning backward, and moving, it's because, you know, I kind of bruised my back, and yeah, it hurts. Alrighty. So Taurus, what's going on this week for Taurus? Ooh, we'll take it. I apologize, Aries. I didn't really show you your oracle cards in your reading. I apologize for that. And if I had half a brain right now, I would have remembered, but I will do that for Taurus. But I did say them out loud, but sometimes when you see the pictures and stuff like that, it kind of, you know, it can ring some additional bells and things like that for you. So, plus also being able to, a lot of people like being able to see what I'm seeing and know my rationale for why I'm saying that. Plus, I like teaching people as I go. Taurus, your reading is being stubborn. Don't flatter me, Jared. Yes, I peeked at the chat. It's kind of hard not to. I'm staring at it, but... Alright. There's my 2 cards. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the oracle cards and then I'll clarify them, okay? So I got Spiritual Union in reverse. And then I have Foundation and Achievements in the upright. And then I have Strength in Silence in reverse. I do read reverses, and a lot of people don't because they think like, oh, if there's a negative connotation, it'll be there in the upright, or maybe they just don't know how to read reversals or whatever. I've always done it. Even in my oracle cards, I do it. Because I believe that spirit, energy, universe, whatever you like to call it, puts things in the order that they want them to be and in the way they want them to be. So I kind of take it as it comes. All right, so let's clarify spiritual union for Taurus. Clarify spiritual union. And you'll see me kind of move my arms like I'm trying to just let the card fall the way it needs to fall. And I'm trying not to get in the way. I kind of let the cards and the universe universe do its job, and I'm just the conduit. I just read. Alright, so let's clarify your foundation and achievements card. See what's going on there. So just because we see something in reverse does not mean it's always an absolute negative. What PLE do? He's over there laughing, y'all doing stuff behind my back. But since PLE is in the chat, I have demanded that PLE wear his mask and a sign that says "Honk if you love free snow" or "Free yellow snow cones." Honk if you love yellow snow cones. Yeah, out in the snow, and he has to record it. And I really want to see that because I think it'd be funny. He has a weird sense of humor like that. So if you want to see that too, you should tell him in the chat. Clarify your suffering in silence in reverse. And I find that completely ironic that card came up, and I'll explain that to you in a second. Alrighty. So, for spiritual union in reverse. Spiritual union, it's obviously the Two of Cups in the tarot. So you have it in reverse. Two of Cups, remember, is that, you know, people know the soulmate energy, or two people with passions combined, or something you're passionate about, a second party in a passionate situation, emotional, loving, whatever you want to call it a passionate situation, something you're passionate about. Two of Wands in reverse. Okay, so with it being in reverse, you know, if it's in the upright, it's a perfect union. In the reverse, it's probably not such a perfect reunion, right? I also have Two of Wands in reverse, so 2 may be a number that you need to remember this week, Taurus. So maybe on the 2nd something happened. Maybe in 2 weeks something's going to happen. Something along those lines. Maybe that 2 is something you need to consider since it's happened twice in a row. And then I have the Sun card, and I have the 8 of Pentacles. So Two of Wands would be seeing into the future, looking into the future at things going forward. You know, he's got the globe in his hand, he's got the world in his hand, you have it in reverse. Maybe it's like things falling apart, you know, there's not that it's not going forward. But then I have the Sun card, and the Sun card is your bright new beginnings, but sometimes it can mean, as we've heard, Jared's not pregnant, okay, so we're not going to get into that one. But it can mean pregnancy. You see a little baby right there? That's why sometimes it can signify new births, new beginnings, pregnancy. And then you have the 8 of Pentacles. Maybe this has something to do with a person might have gotten pregnant, a person wanted to get pregnant. You guys were actively working on it, and it's creating this distant wedge, you know, between the two parties, between something you're passionate about. Maybe you got pregnant and you're like, now I have to leave the job that I really want. You know, now I have to do this instead of this. It doesn't necessarily mean the union between two people. It could be the union between two things in a passionate sense. So it could be a job that you worked really hard for, that you were really involved in and you were really passionate about. Things like that. It can, you know, more specifically mean a romantic partner as well. You got that 8 of Pentacles, that hard work, so that's why I kind of lend to the thought pattern. It could have been a job as well. It could have been a relationship that you were trying to build together, and you were pregnant. You were really putting your effort and everything into this, and it's fallen apart. So I kind of want to say, like, you know, I don't mean to sound like an ass, but, you know, the save a marriage baby. that type of situation. That could be somebody that we got pregnant in hopes of, it would rejuvenate things. Because next to it you have foundations and achievements. So this is a very interesting reading, Taurus, because right next to it you have foundations and achievements. So this could very well be a family concept based thing with, baby and the spiritual union. But, if we're not even going in that direction, maybe you really, really wanted to have a baby because you have the Temperance card here under foundation and achievements. Maybe you've been putting a lot into things to go into this direction of building a family, building your nest egg, building all those things back up. And Seven of Pentacles in reverse, instead of feeling proud about all this stuff, you're feeling quite the opposite, where you're sitting there going, it's just not happening. Death card in reverse. So it's like things are just not going forward. You're not getting that new, that new change, that new opportunity. You're still repeating in the same cycle. So people that do things like, the in vitro and stuff like that, you can get pregnant and lose babies. You can be spending a ton of money and not get pregnant. That could be a case right here if that's your situation. That could be what's going on. And then I have suffering and silence, but it's in reverse. So right now it's like you probably have a lot to say to your partner, and maybe it's just not coming through, because I have the Eight of Wands, but it's sideways. So I took it sideways because this is all about fast, speedy communication. So you could be arguing your head off with somebody right now, your partner or whatever, and just speaking and it's not coming through. So instead of like there's no communication or there is communication, it's like half-hearted, or halfway. Maybe certain things are being able to be conveyed in a constructive manner and other things aren't. You have the Seven of Swords, and then you have the Four of Wands in reverse. So maybe right now you're thinking like, this whole situation is taking a lot out of me and I don't want to be a part of it anymore. You might be considering leaving your union or severing yourself from what it is that you are passionate about. Right now, even at the bottom of the deck, you have, the Six of Pentacles in the reverse. So there's not a lot of equal give and take in this. And if I looked at the bottom of the Oracle one, you have harmony in reverse. So something, based off of what I'm seeing all here, this is all really telling the story of, this is just not going well. And there's a lot going on here. And, we've painted the picture. We see how things are going and we see it right in front of us, but like, what do we do next? So in the case of this, because this is such a hard situation, let me just pull a few cards for advice moving forward. So I see right here, Three of Wands in the reverse, Three of Cups, Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. Right now you just want somebody in this situation just wants to enjoy things in life. They're not interested in what's come what may, or they are interested in the come what may. They're just like, with that Three of Cups, some people will tell you it's a third party situation, a cheating situation. There's a third person in the mix, and for some people that may qualify for you. But I tend to not read it as that. Three of Cups, as per the books, will tell you this is a celebratory card. So this could be that somebody has kind of taken a step back from wanting to settle down with kids. It could be one parent or one person in the party really wants to do all this, and the other person has just kind of backed out. They're like, yeah, I thought I wanted it, now I don't. And that's what I'm seeing, and I'm just seeing like there is no like sensible union going on right here. And the advice moving forward for this is like, if that's what's going on, you need to accept that and just kind of celebrate the small things. If that's not the case, where the union isn't like, no person in the parties is saying they really want to like walk away, right now this would be a time for you to stop worrying about what the future is going to bring. Stop working towards this goal of having the baby and all this other stuff. Just be accepting and open and celebrate what you do have. And I can tell you this right now, when I first had my first daughter, I was told I could not have children because of the type of health situation I had when I was 17. And I was diagnosed with cancer. And I was told, because of the type of cancer that I had, that you know, they had to basically scrape cells and do all this other stuff, it was going to affect my reproductive abilities. And it took a while for me to be able to conceive my daughter because I had had miscarriages prior to her. And to be able to conceive her was like, you know, it just wasn't happening. You know, I basically one night laid in bed and had a one-on-one with God and said, you know what, I'm happy with where I'm at. You know, I'm going to, and it was like I felt complete freedom when I said that, because I literally laid there and said, I'm going to stop trying and I'm going to accept the path that you have given me. And I kid you not, guys, like a week later I was pregnant. And I wasn't anticipating it. I wasn't trying for it. I had just restructured my life. I had just, you know, gotten a new townhouse. I had just gotten all this, and I was redoing my life. I was back with my on and off again person I was with, and that's a whole nother ball of wax though. But, and we were doing really well. Everything was really, really great. And I was just enjoying life. I was grateful for my job. I had an amazing job. I had my new townhouse. I had all this stuff. And then I decided that, you know, I was just going to, you know, be okay with that. You know, I had a stepdaughter. My partner had a daughter. And I was like, you know what, if that's my baby, you know, that's my baby too. And I was helping raise her as it was. So I just accepted what was in my abilities at that time. And then all of a sudden, like I said, I had found out I was pregnant, and I was like, what? And yeah, and I was scared the entire pregnancy though, of course you would be, right? And she is now going to be 16 years old. So it's weird to say I have a 16-year-old. But yeah, I have a 16-year-old that I gave birth to. I've had two stepdaughters that are older. They're like in their, one's 19, one's 20, I believe, from previous marriage. But yeah, it's crazy to say. I don't sometimes forget. I will forget that I'm in my 30s, and yeah, I often will sit there and go, wait, no, I'm not 24. What? I don't feel my age. I will tell you that 110%. I act my age when it comes to work and stuff like that. I act older than I am. But when it comes to like joking around, and Fluff can tell you, I'm like 12 years old when I joke around. I throw like stuff in my mom's cart when I take her shopping that's totally inappropriate, like Depends diapers and condoms and preparation age, and like hide it under stuff so she can't find it till she gets to the register, and then I just bust up laughing. We went to the Goodwill, like when Fluff had first gotten here, we went to the Goodwill to just kind of like, my mom's in love with the Goodwill, I don't know why. Like she donates stuff and then buys it back. It's like, I kid you not, she does that. And so she will like walk away, and I was like, and walk away from her cart, because, you know, she's just like that. She wanders around, and she's like a little kid too. And I will sit there and like throw stuff in her cart, like old cell phone, like some random crap that's on the shelf, and then wait for her like as she's going through the store to figure out it's in there, and then you will just hear her go, what the, like, because my mom has no, she's a former sailor, she has no sensor. And she'll start throwing stuff in like my cart, which I don't know why I have a cart at the Goodwill. I don't buy anything usually, but or at least nothing that I could hold in my hand. But yeah, I'm one of those types. You know, I play practical jokes. I scare people. One of my award-winning practical jokes was when Fluff thought I was asleep and I was laying on his chest, and I wasn't, and I like screamed like I was scared, like I jump scared him, and he dropped his phone on his man parts, and he had a high-pitched scream for a good 2 seconds after that. But yeah, I do stuff like that. What else have I done, babe? I do a lot of stuff. I mess with my kids a lot too. Like, take me to Disneyland. I'm like the biggest 14-year-old you'll find in more ways than one. I'm a big kid. I like having fun. I like celebrating stuff, and I don't know. I like having fun. Gemini! Let's go Gemini. Alrighty. So I have new beginnings in reverse, fulfillment of wishes, and partnership and alliances. Okay. So new beginning, not a new beginning. This could be something that is reviving itself. Fulfillment of wishes and partnership and alliance. So right off the bat, to me, what the first message I got was, I saw the new beginnings in reverse. Okay, so this is something that we've been around the block with, and then fulfillment of wishes and partnership and alliances. This is something that you've got a background in. Okay, it could be a new job, could be or not a new job, but it could be you going back to a job that you once had, and or a field of work or anything like that you really wanted to get into. Maybe you did it before and you had to change professions because of having kids or just life or whatever, and now you're able to get back into it, and you've got partnership and alliance. So if this is a romantic type of situation, this is going to be something of maybe you got back with an ex, got back with somebody that you've been distant from, things like that, and you really, really wanted that. It was something you really, really festered on. Felt that you had that longing for. But that's the message right off the bat. We're going to go ahead and clarify each of these cards. Let's clarify this new beginning. And for those of you that's like, oh, she didn't shuffle the small cards. I'll explain to you why I didn't. At the top of every one of these oracles cards is a number. That number tells me how many times to shuffle these cards to pull your clarifiers. Notice that's a big old 0 right there, so I did not shuffle. On the next one, fulfillment of wishes, it's a 9. What I do is I divide that by 3 because it is. I have a system. If it's higher than 7, I divide it by 3 and go from there. Because I don't want to be shuffling 9 times. I've done it, but I don't really like it, so I have my system of 3. So I will take my clarifier, shuffle it 3 times, putting all of my intent to clarify that card, the fulfillment of wishes card, for Taurus for the week of January 3rd, and that's how I do it. And as I'm shuffling it out, I also say the same thing. Please clarify this card. And I let the universe pull those out for me. Alrighty, some pretty good cards going on here, Gemini. To get a lot of questions about how do you know how many times to shuffle your cards? Why do you do it like this? Why do you do that? Oh, why you always gotta ask why? But that's why. I let the universe dictate to me what it wants. I let, everything speaks. It's just, are you willing to listen? Do you have eyes to see? That's the kind of mentality I carry with when I do anything with divination. So, new beginnings. I have the Queen of Swords in reverse. I have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. And I have the Six of Wands in reverse, all for your new beginning. So, new beginning in reverse. Okay, my bad. So, what I'm seeing here is, yeah, this is probably definitely something from the past. And what I'm getting from this, because it's Queen of Swords in reverse, got the Four of Pentacles, it's something that, back then you weren't really interested in saving. You voiced your opinion. You had that, I don't give a F about any of this and what you feel and what you think. You weren't really interested in saving this whatsoever. Wasn't making you feel good, anything like that. But as time goes on, sometimes when we're going through things, relationships, jobs, whatever the case may be, you weren't feeling it at the time. But you were going through something. It doesn't mean it's the other party's fault that you were feeling this way and provided that negative vibration into the relationship or into the mix. It's not always the second party's fault, okay? We got to take responsibility for what we're doing and why it's happening to us. So coming out of that, you have, you know, fulfillment of wishes. You got the Queen of Cups in the upright. This is that, like, jubilant, emotionally strong energy. It's not quite a king, but it is a queen. And you've got the Ace of Swords in the upright. So that is, remember we talked about it? That's that aha moment of, like, you know, thank you so much. This is, you know, now I know. Now I know this is what I wanted. So remember I talked about, you know, back then you might not have wanted it. Now you're like, you know what? Maybe you got into a bad relationship coming out of the other one, and you're like, yeah, it wasn't their fault. It was me. You know, I know where my shortcomings are. I've done my shadow work. I realize who I am and what I put into this and why it happened the way it did. So, Knight of Wands. I took it on its side because it landed on its side. The reason I did is because, you know what, I try to get it may be this, it may be that, and I see what the other cards lead up to kind of help determine that. Not a lot of forward movement, though. Like, you weren't, what I'm getting right here is now you know, but you were like, this is scared. This is like, should I do something? Like, should I call him? Should I call her? Should I I know she's going to be at this party or this club or at this book meeting or this place. What should I go? Like, that's what this is. It's like, should I, shouldn't I? Because you're afraid that, you know, you have this fear that, you know, I was the bad person. I was the dirty dog in this situation. I had negative cognotations with this. I had negative vibrations that I brought to it. Like, you know, it's, you know, our egos and our shame sometimes that puts these roadblocks up for us, because you're like, will they like me? Like, are they looking at me a different way? You got this Queen of Wands in reverse, and meaning, you know, not feeling good about yourself. That's the story that I'm getting from this. So, like, you're like, this is really, really what I want. I really, really want this person back in my life. And, you know, now you know that this person was good for you. You know that this person was important to you. You know, partnership and alliance. We got 9 of Pentacles in reverse. We got the Death card. And I've got 8 of Pentacles, which landed on its side. So, yeah, your partnership, you didn't put a lot into this relationship at the time. And I think that's where a lot of your stagnation comes from. This relationship may have cost both of you a lot. But with this Death card right here, and you having that new beginning, fulfillment of wishes, I do see that this is more than likely something that is going to rejuvenate itself. I really do. You're scared to put in the work. You're scared to really kind of like make the efforts to be in the right places, right times, that type of thing. You're not trying to get in the way because you're trying to come forward with the bottom of the deck energy as genuine and honest. You've got that 9 of Pentacles right there. You're trying to, like, look, I'm trying to improve. You've done work. You really have. But at the same time, you're worried about the other party, because you kind of, seems to me with this energy, you kind of left them in a spot that was not so good. And it sucks when we have to take responsibility for what we've done to others, and we have to accept what we've done and how it made them feel. We've got to, you know, put on your big girl, big boy panties and be like, look, whether it's cheated, whether it was mental abuse, emotional abuse, you know, taking somebody for granted, doing whatever you did. Maybe you just made them feel less of themselves. Maybe you just weren't there. You weren't as emotionally supportive. When you realize that you played those roles and that person wasn't deserving of those roles, this is a very difficult thing to deal with, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and give you some advice moving forward on this reading completely. And let's see what we can do to help guide you. Because ultimately you want to make the best decision. You really do. Because this is something you definitely wanted. Okay, look here. You're not going to get something for free. Okay? You've got the Knight of Cups, which means you want to go forward with your emotions. You want to go forward with this, but you're King of Pentacles in reverse. So you don't want to put in the effort, or you're just afraid that maybe there was somebody else. Maybe somebody else has their attention. So right now, you've got the Strength and the Emperor card. These came out together, both in the reverse. You know what? You might have humbled yourself up a lot, and you're feeling weak within this moment. You're feeling very vulnerable, and that's totally fine. But, and that's almost okay in this situation. You might have to present yourself to this partner with that vulnerability. But, you know what? In order to make this work, because bottom of the deck energy, you do have 10 of Pentacles. You do have happy home. You do have it there. It is there. Do the damn work. If you hurt the person, you are going to have to rectify the situation. You are going to have to sit there and put yourself on your knees, essentially, and say, look, I know what I did. I may not know everything of what it did to you or how it affected you, but I am willing to work on all of it. It's all or nothing. You don't get to go in there and say, well, as long as he or she accepts me for this, then I will do things. No, 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 no. That's not the way this works. It's never been this way, the way it works. People do this stuff where they're like, I will give so long as I can receive. No. You either go all the way or take your sorry ass to Crybaby Corner and go cry it out. Go let your wishes crash and burn because you're not willing to do what needs to happen for you. So I'm not sure why people, my grandfather told me, why bother having a wish if you're not willing to, why wish upon a star if you're not willing to shoot for the moon? And because that's the thing, is falling on the star is like, or getting your star is like, that is your wish fulfillment. But if that's your target and you miss, you're not going to land on the star. But if you miss the moon, you will land amongst the stars. And hopefully that made sense. But yeah, so if you're not willing to do all the work we do have Crybaby Corner, we do have Candy Ass Corner. Crybaby Corner is for the people that are like, I'm not going to say negative stuff per se, but I'm going to be negative about myself. That they sit over here. Candy Asses come in here and they sit there and want to stir up some shit and want to run their mouth. Well, they go over there. We don't even bother with them. But the little crybabies, they will show up and they want you to feel sorry for their shit. And I don't, and you shouldn't either. So, like I said, Gemini, do the work or don't. It's totally up to you because this is your life. This is your situation. These are your energies. This is your path looking. This is your free will. If you're not willing to do it, it's not going to come into fruition. It's just not. You've got to be willing to take the risk. Nothing worth having comes easily. Sometimes it does. I mean, some people can scratch the lottos and they get money. I've never been that fortunate. Fluff, he can move money on scratchy lottos. I can't. But some people get those. But you know what? We get those situations where something comes easy, but it's so easy to let it fall because we don't have a grip on it when it's gently placed in our hands, right? We sit there and go, oh, look, and then the wind come blow it the fuck away. Oops, sorry. But when we are trying to grasp at something, we hold on. So that's what you need to be doing. That's the energy you need to have is, I'm so eager for my life to come, my wishes to be fulfilled, for this stuff to come into fruition, that I am going to hold on to it with both hands. I'm going to go up against the windstorm and I'm going to hold on to it with both hands and give it all that it takes. Okay? So there's your advice there. La, 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 la. Intense, right? Sometimes readings are intense, but it's a new year and new energies, and sometimes we gotta be just a little intense. Alrighty, Cancer. Going on for our wonderful Cancerians. Ooh, right off the bat, love begins. Sweet. So new passions, new things that are providing that good, loving, high vibrational energy. I don't know what a vibrational is, but we'll figure it out. Love begins, sacrifice and truth in reverse. Let's see what's going on here. Bottom of the deck is shadows in reverse. That's like the moon card. So maybe with truth is like you lied about something, and with the shadow card, which is essentially the moon, it's like, you know, stuff coming up and people finding out some stuff. Okay, so maybe your new love is finding out some stuff. Maybe something you're passionate about. It could be a job, and they find out stuff, and you gotta make some sacrifices. Alright, so let's clarify love begins for our wonderful Cancerian gang. Alrighty. Bent my card. On to sacrifice. Let's clarify the sacrifice card. Lost my grip on that one. There you go. We had a flipper here. There we go. So with as much difficulty as this sacrifice card is giving me to shuffle, I'm going to assume you're not probably really excited about sacrificing your whatever situation you're in for the freedom that you're trying to achieve. A little bit of resistance there. When I read cards, I read everything about the cards. So if there's resistance in shuffling, if there's anything, if there's too many cards falling, that might be you're putting too much energy into something. I read it all. And the truth card. Let's get that. Those kind of fell out, but I'm going to take them. Alrighty. So love begins. I've got Page of Pentacles, Three of Wands in the reverse, and Queen of Pentacles. So, seems to me that this is something that came out of the blue. Cancer, whatever this is. Love begins doesn't always have to be, you know, a romantic partner. It could be just a, like I said, a passionate situation, something you're passionate about, new hobby, new interest, new job, new something. It's something you went into where you were kind of going into it like minimally, like you did a little bit of work, a little bit of research. It wasn't something you were hanging your hat on. You didn't really actually foresee this. You were like, sounds interesting, but, you know, maybe not, because you got that Three of Wands in reverse. Queen of Pentacles. It's something that would have been, it's something that's going to be amazing for you. Whether it's a person, whether it's a new job or whatever, it comes with, I mean, it's not top tier, but it's pretty darn good. So if this is a new person, they're probably older than you, and have that, like, they're put together. Like, you're kind of put together, but they're really put together. Okay, so if you're like, if you, like, let me put it to you this way. If it's somebody you're meeting at work, like, this is kind of like trying to date your boss energy. And you're like, not the top boss, but, you know, one of the bigger ones. Or, you know, this could be the situation of, you know, it's just, I'm aspiring to go in this direction, and this person is in this direction. So, one of those types of situations. Sacrifice, you got Queen of Wands, Eight of Pentacles, and the Ace of Swords. So, sacrifice. What I'm getting right here, Queen of Wands is all about vanity. She's that very fiery, I'm beautiful, I'm sexy, I'm this. It's somebody who's very, very, like, in that more of the, we're not speaking gender, but that feminine more energy of, you know, hey, I'm just, you know, they're more vain. It's more about, like, the appearance, even though the King of Wands is very much the same, but she's very sure of herself. Like, she's one of those that's like, like that type of mentality. Eight of Pentacles, that's has to do with, love of the labor, right? Putting all that effort into it, all that work, things coming into fruition. Ace of Swords, that aha moment, that moment of truth, that moment of things that are coming into fruition, with things beginning. You got to put in that sacrifice, though. So it's like you're realizing that this is going to be some work, but it's a work that actually makes you feel good about yourself. So putting in that effort actually brings out a better you, but don't be superficial about it. Don't be like, I'm doing this just because, it looks good. Okay? You gotta feed your soul too with whatever you do. Alright? So truth in reverse. And this is where I get into that don't be superficial business, because you got that Three of Cups, ceremonious type of, celebratory union. It feels good. We party a lot. We have a great time. I got the Three of Swords on its side, so it's like, what? It's not something that brings about heartache. I'm not worried about that. I'm not interested in getting my heart broke by this, so I'm just taking it as it is. I'm taking it as it comes. I'm enjoying it. But you've also got the Justice card and you've got the Page of Swords. So what this says to me right here is you might be living a lifestyle that you kind of went into thinking like, I'll fake it till I can make it, and people are going to find out, like, you might not be as genuine or as fitting for this as you claimed to be. So when we have things like, the Shadow card in reverse, it's like you're trying really hard to hide what's going on. You're really trying to mask things. You're trying to mask, like, your vulnerabilities. You're trying to mask, like, what you're insecure about. But you're not really awesome at it. That's the thing. You're coming at it with, like, this Page of Swords energy. Just be careful that people don't figure you out. I mean, if you're going to be a shady person to gain something, gain a new interest, whether it's love or anything, but, if you're going to be kind of like that, you're going to be shady, be good at your game. Because people are getting good at finding things out on people. People are getting real good at figuring out who's not an honest Charlie. The internet is a wonderful thing and it's a horrible thing, because people like to put too much about who they are, what they do, and who they've been with, all this other stuff. Like, there's way too much out there. So that's why I try to subscribe to the method of, like, I don't say a whole lot. I'll say a lot of matter-of-fact stuff, but not a lot of, like, the interpersonal things, because sadly people like to use that as, like, an ammunition type based thing. So be careful. Be careful about what it is that you are putting out there. Just make sure what you're putting out there is what you're willing to face in the mirror. Okay? Alrighty. Good luck on that new love. Good luck on those sacrifices you gotta make. You know what? It's honestly easier to just be honest and face your music than it is to try to hide it. Alright. Leo. Leo, you are next. Okay, Leo, we have sacrifice in the reverse, stand your ground, and temptation. Bottom of the deck, victory and success. So sacrifice in the reverse. We have stand your ground. So you got somebody being very triumphant, come what may, I'm gonna be here even if I'm by myself. I'm gonna do this. I'm standing in my conviction. And the temptation card, which is kind of like the devil card in the traditional tarot. So, let's get these clarified for you, Leo. There's a lot going on here. Maybe it's something where you're like, you know what? I am going to stand up against the devil here, and I am going to, I don't feel like caving into somebody, you know, or something, but that sacrifice in the reverse, you know. But let's see what's going on here. Clarify your stand your ground card. Clarify this temptation card. So there's a lot going on here. So Leo, you could be dealing with a Capricorn too, by the way. Some double cards right there. Alright. And then we also have like the new moon in Capricorn. So it's one of those things where you could be dealing with just stuff like that is remanifesting into your life. But for sacrifice, you have the Tower in reverse. So, like, you could be having a moment. This could be coming from a moment that you are rebuilding from. You know, the Tower card usually means changes. Like, it's a dramatic change. But it's one of those changes that is like, the whole world has to fall apart in order for you to build from the ground up. You could be building from that ground up now. From a previous disaster, you are now rebirthing yourself, or you have the opportunity to, with that sacrifice card in the reverse. And you got the Lovers card. And then you have Eight of Pentacles in reverse. What I'm getting is this is probably a breakup type situation. Something, whether it's a person or a job or whatever, something you're severing from or have severed from. You've gone through the worst part of it. You went through the Tower moment, the great explosion, all that other stuff. And now I think what you're trying to figure out is going forward in your passions, going forward with that type of love or relationship unity that you are looking for. Things with great, you're trying to find great purpose and stuff, and you're not really wanting to continue sacrificing yourself for just love alone. That can also be your message. So standing your ground, Ace of Cups, you want new energy. You want new, loving, passionate energy is what I'm getting. And you're just not sure if you want to walk away from stuff. You also have the Six of Swords. Fell on its side, I'm taking it on its side. You have the Six of Swords, which is just like walking away, just being done, like moving on from something, but you know, it's something that you're moving on from with great emotional, like there was some emotional bulk to it. But Nine of Pentacles right here, like you're just trying to ground yourself, become really stable with you. Stability is a big thing in you standing your ground right now. And then with the Temptation card, you have the King of Pentacles in reverse, you have the Nine of Swords in reverse, and you have the Six of Pentacles. This is all about creating balance. Like this, if I could define this this entire reading, it would be like you just trying to create stability and balance within yourself. So, you know, temptation costs you a lot, but you're not interested in sitting there and weeping over it anymore. You're not willing to sit there and cry over the loss anymore. You've accepted that loss, whatever it is, whether it's, you know, substance issues with the temptation card, sexual gratifications, things like that. You're like, you know what, if I don't have that anymore, I'm fine. And I will be fine. I'm not going to let this own me. And now you're just trying to find that balance within yourself. And that's what I'm seeing. With that victory and success card, you also have Three of Pentacles. You're working on building your platform with the people that work best with you. And it's going to achieve great things for you. But let me go ahead and pull some advice moving forward for you. See if we can get just a closing message for you. But Leos are, you know, you guys are kind of, Leos can be kind of vain. You need to move forward. You got Three of Wands, you got the Chariot. This is definite strong forward energy. And then you got the Wheel of Fortune card. You know, but you got it in reverse. So, you know, it's telling you, you know, despite how uncertain things may be, despite how difficult it may seem, the best thing, nothing good's going to happen until you do make the choice and the suggestion to move forward. Just going forward. But be strategic and be smart about it. Don't just do like, okay, she said go forward. I've been wanting to. I'm just going to do it, you know, not looking left, not looking right, not being guided. You need to have the guidance. Yes, you need to go forward. You need to start planning for the future and everything. But obviously, don't sit there and repeat bad maneuvers. Don't repeat the past. Okay, don't try to run so far from your past that you end up repeating it. Okay, don't fall into cycles. You know, you got that Six of Cups at the bottom, which is that nostalgic energy, you know, remembering things from before, from probably before you were in these situations, things like that. You know, just remember that you are still a good, youthful person. You have endless possibilities. Let those endeavors come forward. All right, Leo? All right. Virgo. I know everybody waits for the Virgo readings. Virgo readings are the happening readings. That's a fiery little crew. Virgos. Virgo. Virgos had good, really good readings. They've had really intense readings. Let's see what we've got going on for January 3rd for our Virgos. Virgo, what happened? We were doing so good last week. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and talk about what's going on here real quick. Partnerships and alliances in reverse. Are we just not aligned with our partnerships really well? You've got the Light card, which is the Sun card, in reverse. And we've also got Spiritual Strength in reverse. So, and then at the bottom of the deck, Trapped in Fear. Like, what's going on? Did we have a fight? Did we, you know, what's going on? Are we not feeling like we're belonging in something? Let's see. But also, this is also stuff if it hasn't happened yet. It could be coming up, so don't worry. But let's see. Sometimes, I'm not going to get too caught up in the possible negative connotation of this, because sometimes the clarifiers can make us view things a lot differently. So let's clarify the partnerships and alliances. Okay. Somebody had something to say right away. Alrighty. Let's clarify the sun card. Oh boy. And then threw up on me. Honey. Muffins. I dropped some cards on the floor. And I can't keep shuffling without them. Somebody had like a hardcore moment this week. Because the cards just went crazy. It's Gatorade, by the way. No blue curacao for me. Alright, let's clarify this white card. Don't throw up on me this time. Come on. So see, the messages aren't going to be so bad. Like the clarifiers always show us something like, this could be deeper meaning. This could be, and I'm going to tell you that I think it is deeper meaning than just something like on the surface of like, you know, in our 3D, you know, relationship or, you know, what have you. Okay, let me get the spiritual strength in reverse clarifier, and then we'll get going. Try to step outside of my ego because my fluffy is a Virgo. So I just have to kind of step out of my ego a little bit of like, how does this apply to him or anything like that? Because sometimes the readings aren't him. So bottom of the deck, you have trapped in fear. But you know what? You also have Ten of Swords. So worst part over. I think last week you had Ten of Swords somewhere. Didn't you? I want to say you did. So what ends up happening, I think this is speaking to, I was going through something so, this is like past energy to me. This is what I'm getting, is I was going through something, I didn't tell anybody I was going through something, and now I'm watching the ball roll out from what it was. Okay, so partnership and alliance. Right here, what is showing me with your Four of Swords in reverse, you have the Emperor in reverse and the Justice card in reverse. Just things were going crazy. You know, you didn't know what to kind of do. You're like, this is so outside of the norm. This is just, this wasn't us. This wasn't, you know, this came out of nowhere. And, you know, been through a lot with this person, with that Emperor card and that Justice card. You know, this isn't enough to make anybody sever anything. But you're like, been through enough, and then why does this feel so weird? For some reason, this situation felt different. Okay? With that light card, so the sun card basically being in reverse, what it means is, you know, you're being told, like, guess what? The universe showed up with a curveball, and it's like, remember when you thought you had seen it all? You didn't. And it's giving you new strengths. It's giving you something to revive with and move forward with. You have the Fool card, you have the Strength card, and you have Temperance. It's teaching you a lot of patience. And you know what sucks? Is when you're already a patient person, and you're sitting there going, what do I need this for? You know, like, I already know. I've been there. I've been there when I was 20. I was there when I was 15. You know, why do I gotta go there again? I know what I'm doing with this person, with this job, with this whatever this partnership and alliance was. But you know what? For whatever reason, and I'm going to tell you right now, this situation is going to be very unique to each individual. whatever the situation is, it is going to teach you strength, persistence, perseverance, temperance, and everything. And it's also going to teach you not to sweat the small stuff. Because for some reason I get, I don't know, Virgos tend to sweat small stuff no matter what we say to them. So that's what I'm getting from this. This is very much a like, you know what? It's going to remind you that you're strong. It's going to remind you that you're patient. But the reason it's doing it is very much so to teach you to enjoy you, to enjoy the space, to enjoy the circumstance, to enjoy the high and low. It's actually teaching you how to move your vibrational level to match what you are going through, to invoke your courage and your patience and all those things that you tend to fester in. We all do it. It ain't just a Virgo thing. Everybody does it. So it's teaching you to, be water. Be versatile. Water flows. Water fits into whatever it's put into. Be water. Come on. We all know some Bruce Lee here, don't we? So that's what it's kind of teaching you, is to kind of come what may. You got the Fool card there where he's like always close to the edge, but guess what? He's like, tra-la-la. So what? There's your edge, but that's not the end of my story. So that might be yours, not mine. But that's what I'm seeing from this is you are not only rewriting yours, but you're teaching other people how to hold the pen. So what this is doing for you is to enrich you in a way that you've been asked to be enriched with. You may at one point have asked, a higher power to teach you more patience. You may have asked a higher power to show you something. And yes, it does take the path of least resistance. It really does. So, and like I said, sweating the small stuff. But what it is definitely going to show you is, when you have those moments where you ask God, like, or a higher power, whatever you should choose to call him, you decided, I want to learn more emotional freedom. I want to learn how to be okay with this, be okay with that, be okay with things not being in my control, be okay with things kind of going in opposite directions and how to maneuver through them. This may have been something you asked for 5-10 years ago, and it's teaching you now because now is the time. So spiritual strength in the reverse. You have the 8 of Cups in reverse. You have the 6 of Cups in reverse, and you have the Moon card. Shadow work. Shadow work. This is definitely something from the past. This is going to teach you something to make a smoother future, okay? Right now you're like, maybe it's not how you're feeling. I'm getting there's some push and pull vibration here. That kind of sounded dirty, but oh well. But there is some definitely like resistance here with some. So some of you are like, this ain't my story. Well, if it ain't your damn story, it ain't your damn story. Hi, Urban Axiom. And so what I'm going to tell you with this is you're not thinking backwards enough. You're not realizing why you walked away from things. Things come up and you kind of sit there and let me figure out how I'm going to speak. There's a lot. You tend to walk away from things. Those people that say, well, it doesn't serve you, just walk away. Well, you kind of took on that mentality because it was kind of a trendy thing at one point. But you didn't listen to the signs. You didn't listen to that little inner voice. You didn't listen to a lot of things, and now guess what? It's coming back to bite you. So that's what I'm seeing with this, and maybe that's a scary thing for you. Not having to go back and look at yourself in the mirror, look at that shadow sequence of you, that can be horrifying. We don't want to have to deal with past trauma. We don't want to have to deal with that energy that provides us with uncertainty. We don't want to have to deal with that. That's a hard thing to deal with, especially if we've got good things going on. But I already have strong positive relationships. Like, why do I need to go back and do all this shadow work and figure out why I'm allowing certain things into my life? Why do I have to go back and do that if I do have good things? Well, like I said, you still have to clean up messes in order to have a clean home, right? You can't just sweep things under the rug. And a lot of people do that sight unseen. I'll see it. Virgos are very clean people naturally. But there are moments when stuff gets in over your head and you're just like, I can't deal with this. But you have those vain moments of, I'm supposed to be strong. Virgos are strong. You know, we're supposed to be strong. You can't see my weakness, so what do? We suppress it. And that suppression has now built up a little bit of a mountain for you. So under that rug, we're starting to see the little mountain of dirt. And what I'm going to tell you right now is deal with it now instead of later. Because you're just going to add more to it, and then it's going to end up being like way worse. And no, that's gonna blow your head gasket right there. Okay, so deal with it now. It sucks. Trust me, it sucks. And shadow work isn't a one-time thing. That is a continuous thing. If you notice a lot of negative stuff is coming into your life, there's a reason. That is the universe saying, you didn't miss, Scorpio. That is the universe saying that do it now. Deal with it now. You need to realize that you're inviting this into you. Come on. It's literally snapping all these fingers at you going, come on, wake up a little bit for me, please. And you're sitting there going, no, but I'm fine. The universe is telling you, you're not. And it's okay to not be fine. We've had this talk. It is okay to not be fine. But if you're going to constantly deny that you're fine or that you're not fine, you're going to find yourself in that constant cycle of, I'm not fine, but I can pretend to be. And who wants to live like that? Especially not my Virgos. They don't like that. They like the freedom of knowing, okay, I can breathe. Because you guys are always a mile a minute. You're always huffing and puffing. You're breathing. You are technically breathing, but you're breathing a little labored. So, no. Build you up, and deal with it. And you know what? You're going to find out where you're going to have that moment of, why didn't I just deal with that then? Happens all the time. So take the breath, Virgo. Take the breath. Put on your Nikes. Get ready to box, because that's what it looks like you're going to do with some past shadows. Okay? But you know what? You always come out better when you do when you it's like cleaning out the closet. You know, you can put stuff away good and everything and it fits in there, but you know that you probably should clean out the old shit. That's what's going on here. You're going to have to pull everything out of the closet, wipe it all down, put it back the way you want to, because guess what? When you walk into the closet, you know exactly where everything is, you know exactly where you want it to be, and there's no question. Okay? So, see, this is what I mean. Like, the beginning of the reading looked like it could go one way, but then we clarified, and guess what? We got more of a definitive reading that probably will fit and make more sense. All right, moving along to Libra. Libra. Ooh. You guys notice I always scratch my dang nose? It's number one, it's my hair, but number two, I do own cats and I do have allergies, and when I do readings, for some reason with all the energy cycles and everything, it tends to like come up to my throat and crown chakras, so a lot more blood flow, and so I tend to itch more. Alright, Libra, messages for Libra. Let's see what we got going on here. Libra don't want no messages, or what? There we go. The light card was the star card on that one. Okay. Anywho's. Intuition, the waiting game in reverse, and fertility. Ooh. So. At the bottom of the deck, you have material and spiritual prosperity in reverse. let's get some clarifiers for you, Libra, on your big three right here. The waiting game. Let's get some clarity for that card so we know what's going on. Let's clarify fertility for Libra. Yeah, that was quick. Alrighty, for intuition. So that's our more introspective card, you know. We've got the King of Swords, Five of Cups, and the Death card. So your intuition is probably telling you something that you obviously need to know or you have a feeling about. And it's requiring you to go at this in a very cutthroat manner. The King of Swords is that type of energy that is that very, you know what, I'm just saying what I'm saying. It's not so much stubborn energy, it's I know why I do the things I do and say the things I do. It's the more fatherly energy of I'm going to give you the advice that you need and not so much what you want. It's a very cutthroat, you know what, it's not going to feel good and that's okay. It's that warrior mentality. He has that sword for a reason. He is forged. He is one of those people that's like, I've earned my ability to sit here as a king. And so your intuition is telling you to be on point with that. And right here you have the Five of Cups. You're kind of sitting here sulking in that spilled milk, not realizing that you've got some substantial opportunities coming to you, and they're coming whether you like them or not, and you know that. You got the Death card right here. So that is changes and new beginnings. And your intuition is telling you that I think it's really gearing you up for get rid of the past baggage, even though you're still dwelling on it. But it's telling you to wise up, you know, strengthen up, you know, understand there was a reason for that. So the waiting game, you're ready to go into your new forward destination, whatever the case may be, new job, new place, new people, whatever. You're ready to do that now. You're not being very patient on this at all. So you're not really, okay, you got Ace of Cups in reverse. So it's not really like a new, your heart's not really into this as much as you are hoping it would be. You're trying to, like, you're just kind of going forward with the movement, and you're not really kind of holding onto the vibration of like, as long as it feels good, like I can do it. You're like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it now. I'm not going to wait till I'm healed. I'm getting that as well. You got the Eight of Swords, so feeling almost like imprisoned to do this. Like you're bound. Like you don't really have a choice, you know. But then you have the Seven of Cups right here. So that's about choices. And what I'm getting from right here is you don't like what was been given to you. You know, and you're not being very patient with yourself, but options are there. There's options within the fact that you think that there are no options. Okay? Fertility. You have the Nine of Wands in reverse, the Hermit card in reverse, and the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. So from this, I'm getting like, you know, you have the opportunity for these beautiful, bright beginnings and all these awesome things that you want. And they are coming, but, you know, you're at the stage of like, you know, I don't want to sit and resist. I don't want to have to constantly be fighting for these new things that I want in my life that usually come a lot easier to others. So, you know, but you need to you need to take a chill. You really do. I know you don't want to sit and wait, but you know what? There's some wisdom in just waiting and letting the universe do what it needs to do for you. All right? And, you know, come on. You don't want to rush things. You don't want the idea of like, I can have this, I can buy a brand new $80,000 car today. But what's going to happen in a couple of months when you can't really afford the payment on that? You know, just wait up and save. If you really have to have that car, wait and save until you have the money to put a proper down to make the payments lower. Don't do things that are going to disrupt your home. You know, don't get things out of chaos so bad. Don't get above yourself. All right? Right now you're not really looking towards that future, but you know, you're not really taking the precautionary measures to plan for your future too well. You know, you're just kind of letting you're kind of just letting things you're trying to be in charge. Okay? You're trying to take the charge on something. You're not really listening to advice either. You gonna sabotage your success there, Libra? Because it's all here. You need to learn to work better with other people. You need to work better. Okay, this could be just listening to opinions. It could be that simple. You know, I know that you're tired. I know you're tired of sitting up at night and crying your eyes out. You're done with that. You've got bottom of the deck energy, Nine of Swords in reverse. But if we're not going to be listening to people of authority, of higher knowledge, things like that, guess what? You know, nobody's forcing you to believe or do or be any one thing. But if you don't believe in something, if you don't believe in, you know, the advice given and stuff like that, you're going to live without consequence. And without consequences, when we start rushing things, we don't do things in divine timing and in perfect alignment. So we start sacrificing and not utilizing our common sense. We start sacrificing our own success and sabotaging it. So you need to start listening to others. You need to start working with others. There is a reason why authorities have their knowledge. Not always, but there usually is. So just because, like, I know a lot of people say, well, my boss doesn't deserve to be a boss because he's kind of dumb. You know, but, or this person above me is kind of stupid. They don't have a lot of common sense, but they're a boss for a reason. They do bring something, if not very much, but something to the table. So Libra, I'm going to leave this one on you. You know, I've given you the advice and we've gone through this, but if you're not going to, you know, necessarily take the advice given, there's not a whole lot I can do. Because that's basically what I do. Is I give some advice, I tell you what it is and what I see, but you got to be able to accept it. You got to be able to want to utilize that. Okay? And that one's going to be, this Libra reading is probably going to be specific for somebody. You know, you're going to, I constantly say, if you're going to piss in the wind, you're going to end up with a face full of pee. And that's what I'm seeing right here is, you know, you're so eager to get to where you want to be, you're going to forget the lessons, you're going to forget the pathway, and if we forget how we got to a destiny, we're going to get lost if we ever have to leave there. Okay? Sound good? Maybe. But those messages seem like they've come through for Libra, and we're heading on down to Scorpio town. So messages for Scorpio. For Scorpio for January 3rd. Apparently you want to come out. That one like slid down my arm and I'm like, well, I guess you're here to play. Alrighty. Cool. So, power in reverse, shadow in reverse, and trapped in fear in reverse, but spiritual strength in the upright. So, Scorpio, right now you're feeling vulnerable and a little weak, but you're trying to come into a sense of real. And that's what I'm seeing is learning from past mistakes, digging out all that nasty. You're doing it. You're getting in there with your spiritual strengths. You know, that shadow card, that moon card in the reverse, things being, you know, you're not trying to hold it in anymore, even though you are. You know, you don't need to live trapped in fear. You don't need to live trapped based on, you know, the stuff that has happened in your past or what's going on now. You know, this could be a past thing. So there's one message, but let's see what else we got going in here. Let's clarify these. Okay. Clarify this shadow card. And let's clarify your trapped in fear card. Oh, you're awake? You're over there, like, moaning, like, falling asleep. He got up at, like, 4 a.m., so. He had a busy, busy day at work today. A long day at work. He had to go in extra early. And you have Knight of Pentacles in reverse, so making that forward movement, you know, the spiritual strength card and the Knight of Pentacles being that background music here is, you know, kind of, you're going forward and you're grounding yourself in that energy of what you know, what you've grown spiritually, what you've seen, what you've experienced. It's all coming into play, okay? So Power card in reverse, which is like the Strength card in reverse. So I've got the Hanged Man in reverse. So you're doing some forward movement. You're doing some stuff that you're unsure of, but you know, you're at that moment where you're like, I'm gonna do it. You've got the Four of Swords in reverse, so you're not laying down on this one. You're like, I don't know if I like this, but I'm gonna do it. So, and that's what I'm getting right here is like, you know, especially with the Hangman in reverse, the Fool in reverse. It's like you're not just kind of sitting there testing what you're like, I'm ready to jump in, but it's like a baby duck, you know, when it's first learning to walk. It's like, it's uncertain of things, so it's kind of waddling through, but it's determined to be able to grow from there. So with the Shadow card, which is essentially like the Moon card in reverse. So what I want to say to you this month, or this week, Scorpio, is, you know, just because other people don't know what's really going on, don't think that other people don't know what's going on. Like, that really needed to come through for some Scorpios. I've got the Knight of Swords in reverse. I've got the Ace of Cups in reverse. And I got Six of Pentacles in reverse. You're trying to be fair to everybody in a time that, you know, you're like, okay, I'm gonna do what I need to do here, and I'm gonna do what I need to do here for this person or for that person, for everything. And you're not really filling up your own cup a whole lot, Scorpio. Okay? So you need to be doing that. Six of Pentacles. You need to be you need to be balancing out things. You need to do what's fair for the individual circumstance, individual person, but also what is fair for you. Because things ain't feeling good in the hood for you is what I'm getting right here, okay? It's starting to wear down on you. It's kind of like, you know, with waves in the ocean. They will wear down on the cliffs, even though they are strong, even though they are built, you know, to take on a lot. It's that situation of, you know, it eventually does wear in time. And I think right now you're starting to feel some of that wear. And having to kind of sit there and go, I'm okay all the time, which I get a lot from people. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's going to happen. I'm going to be able to get through. But behind the scenes, you go and lock yourself in your bathroom and question the entire world. You start questioning everything, and you have those moments of almost despair of why me, why now, why this, why, you know, the whys start coming up, even though you're trying to put yourself through it. You know, coach yourself through it. You're like, well, why not me? But, you know, why am I better than anyone else? Like, you're really just like, you got one little person on your shoulder, like, you know, this hurts, this sucks, and this one is like, well, it hurts and sucks for everybody. But, you know, it's really hard to go through that battle of trying to be, you know, your own personal yin and yang all the time. And, yeah, and eventually it wears you down. It wears you down. And it's okay to be worn out a little bit, Scorpio, or a lot. And that's what I'm seeing here is it's starting to show through a little bit that you're a little worn out. You know, people kind of notice when you're gone for a while. You know, from your friend groups, from responding to a text message, people notice those little things. They don't say anything because we know your strengths. But, you know, that's a message that I felt needed to come out to the Scorpio out there that knows, you know, they know that they have people that will always love them and nurture them and value them and everything. And yet they feel the need to remove themselves from them because they need to go through their stuff by themselves. They need to come to grips with a negative situation, a negative connotation, and, you know, rebuild themselves. Scorpios love doing things on their own. They really do. When it comes to that rebuilding, when it comes to that spiritual strength, because, come on, Scorpios are some strong water signs. And they go through their emotions, and they are like, no, I know me, I know what I'm doing. They don't let people in very easily. And because they're like, no, I'll do for you. I don't need you doing for me. And this is what I'm getting from this message coming through for Scorpio is, yeah, we know you're strong. We know. But we also know when you're not. Okay? We also know you're human. And we also know that you need love too. We also know that you need to take that step back and be loved. And be supported, okay? It's okay. Don't try to hide that you're going through some heavy stuff. You're going through some hard thoughts. You're going through a heavy situation. You know, when we are going through things that really determine our lives, you know, relationships, legal issues, any of those things. Like, yeah, we know you probably got your hands into it. You're probably pretty good. You know, you're probably all set. But you still need support. You still need to know that you're cherished and you're loved, and you may not need a ton of support, but some is good. You know, it's okay to be transparent. It's okay to talk to people. It's okay to say, hey, do you have space for me right now? Like, can I bend your ear for like 10 minutes? I'm really going through something. I promise you, everybody's going to sit there and be like, yeah, what's going on? And it's okay for you to take that 10 minutes and share what you're comfortable sharing, because I know sometimes we either want to put a none or all, you know, and sometimes we're like, but if I say all, then if I say everything, then I'm in a weird vulnerable situation I don't like being in. So sometimes saying what you're comfortable with, maybe sometimes just hearing someone's story on something that relates to what you're going through helps too. Find that niche that works for you, Scorpio. Okay? And trapped in fear. And so this is what I'm getting with that trapped in, you know, you feeling like, you know, reclusion, things like that. Like, you know you're not alone, You know that it's just uncomfortable. It's not so much trapped in fear, it's uncomfortable. And with that Eight of Pentacles, you do the work. Three of Pentacles, you have people that work well with you. Page of Pentacles. There's times where you're like, I'm so used to pushing stuff to the back burner that, or handling my way through it, that I don't know how to be vulnerable. And that's a vulnerability in and of itself. You're not asked to be strong all the time. You're not. It's actually not probably a good idea to be that strong all the time. So what I say to you, Scorpio, is yes, like I said, we know you're strong. You know you're extremely capable. But when stuff is bothering you, it's totally okay to reach out. It's totally okay to say, maybe I don't have it all. Maybe I'm not all set with this. Maybe I do need just 10 minutes here to share space with somebody to know that I'm cared about. Maybe I don't need to be so jaded going through my day-to-day life. Just because I know doesn't mean I feel. And Scorpios are water signs. You guys are very emotional, but you have a complexity with that emotion. Alright? So, it's okay. You're okay. Scorpios are always going to be okay. But, for some reason, this came up for you. This reading came up for somebody, some Scorpios. And it's an important message to you. Because it kind of goes against the grain a little bit. Our minds are a horrible place to be sometimes. Sometimes we don't belong in our own minds. Sometimes we have to let somebody else handle it for us a little bit. Okay? Alright. So, I think our messages for Scorpio have come through. Let's move it right along to Sagittarius. Saggy. Bottom of the deck, triumphant success in reverse. So what happened? Where did we fall short? Material harvest in reverse, choose wisely in reverse, and partnerships and alliances in reverse. I'm getting more that this probably has to do with work-based or materializing something in the physical form, not so much emotionally or mentally. Let's clarify. Let's see. Again, I didn't show you your cards. So material harvest in reverse. Choose wisely, but in reverse. And partnerships and alliances in reverse. So let's clarify. Let's clarify material harvest for Sagittarius for this week. Things keep going around in circles for you, huh? That Wheel of Fortune card in reverse. Still going through some cycles, huh? And I'm seeing, you see that one fly over my shoulder? And I'm seeing from here, like, we're going through cycles where things are just not, the things we're deciding on are our choices, things like that, we're not choosing the right things. That's what I'm getting. Alright, let's clarify choose wisely before we go any further. Some dishonesty within ourselves. We got that Ace of Swords in the reverse. happen. You know, maybe you had something going on with a partnership group setting at work and it didn't come into fruition. Triumph and success in reverse, along with Three of Pentacles in reverse. So something that happened with more than one person. It just didn't flow, didn't jive. Like I said, you got that Wheel of Fortune card in reverse, Seven of Swords. You know, you're trying to be honest with stuff. You're trying to do things the right way. You're trying to do things, you know, with the best of intentions with that Seven of Swords in reverse and that Page of Pentacles. It's just, you know, some of this is just shaky ground for you. Something didn't materialize for you because it was like, you know, you weren't as prepared as you should have been for it, is what I'm kind of getting. You didn't probably you weren't making the most wisest decisions, but maybe that wasn't necessarily your fault because maybe you just were poorly trained on it. Maybe you just didn't have enough of the background on something, enough resources. Choose wisely. I have the Magician card, Ace of Swords in reverse, and the Seven of Swords. I think like you wanted this really badly that you were willing to say or do anything to get it, and that didn't come from the most honest of tongue, and it created quite a bit of chaos for you with this Seven of Wands. You know, it became a battle. Partnership and alliance. So I'm getting that it didn't work out. You fought for it. It didn't really work out. But you know what? What I am getting here, you got Knight of Pentacles in the upright, Eight of Swords in the reverse, Four of Wands. This was probably the best thing to happen to you, is to sever from this connection. Because, you know, with that Eight of Swords, when it's in its upright, that is, you know, you being in this, like, torturous, prisonous type situation, locked in, bound in. You are no longer. You know, with that Four of Wands, that's happy, harmony, finding new things that work for you. This is a pretty clear, precise, and cutthroat reading right here. There's not really much to clarify. It's like coming out of it was the best thing to happen to you. So the only thing I could think is advice moving forward to maybe make a stronger decision of which way to go with this. Let's just see. Let me pull some advice moving forward just to kind of see. Advice. Alrighty. You need to, okay, so advice moving forward. Four of Cups, Seven of Pentacles, and Three of Cups. You don't always need to go out celebrating everything all the time. You need to just learn to find the celebration in being able to complete the work. Okay? You know, you don't stay fixated on stuff. Let stuff come in the way it needs to. You know, if something shows up that's a good opportunity, you need to pay attention to that. You need to stop staying so fixed on, like, but I want to be doing this, so I'm going to ignore all of this. All right? So that's what I'm seeing here. Thank you for that, Melissa. All right, Sagittarius. So that is the reading going. Yeah, you know, it's very cut dry. This one's very cutthroat right here. This is cut and dry. So I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm not going to try to get too wrapped up in it because I'm kind of getting that feeling of it was a very intended for probably a particular Saggy or group of Saggies. And it was meant to come through that dominant. So we're going to leave that. Alright? Alright, so Capricorn. Let's get the ball rolling for Capricorn. So, Capricorn, we have in the upright the waiting game, mental conflict, and choose wisely in the reverse. So, let's get some clarifiers going. See that? Alrighty. So let's clarify mental conflict for Capricorn for this week. Strong energy coming out for Capricorn. Alright. Let's clarify choose wisely. Bottom of the deck energy, we have material and spiritual prosperity along with the Ace of Cups in reverse. Alrighty. So the background premise to this meeting will be, material and spiritual prosperity. So, just making things happen, getting your vibrations going with that forward movement of making things happen. Even when, we're not as emotionally invested with things, maybe in this case you're kind of trying to take emotions out of things. Maybe you're trying to take love out of things. Maybe you're just trying to do things like trying to get away from the aspect of I have to do and be everything based off of a relationship, partnership, emotions or anything like that. And I just want to do the things that I need to do and get myself straight. The waiting game. So you have the World card in reverse. So you've got a current cycle going on. And you got the Hangman in reverse. So you've got, Capricorn. Capricorns don't like just, jumping into stuff necessarily without proper preparation. They're very like, no, I need to know what I'm doing. I need to know how to do it. I need to be properly prepared. And I feel like on this one, like, with the Hangman not in reverse and it's saying, the waiting game, it's like you're done with kind of waiting. But at that same note, you're like, I don't want to do something stupid. I'm ready to rock this, but overall, like, I want to be strategic. I'm getting like, being, having strong strategy. And it's something that you've been able to do in the past. This type of strategy with that World card in the reverse, that constant cycle, it may not have been this thing that's up your sleeve normally. Love you, vodka. Thank you for staying with us. It may not be something that, is from your arsenal, but it's probably something that you have heard or seen or done. And I think that's why I'm getting that hesitation here, is like, I've seen other people do it, I haven't done it, that type of thing. But like I said, that it's kind of like a cat just kind of like, prowling and looking and is like, okay, when do I jump? I know I need to, but when do I? That type of thing. Mental conflict. 3 of Cups in reverse, 9 of Pentacles in reverse, and the High Priestess in reverse. No, your intuition's all over the place, Capricorn, so that's probably why, you're like, I don't like the way this feels. I don't like the way, because like for the Capricorn, like 9 of Pentacles, that's you in all your glory, but in the reverse, you're like, no. And it's probably because this is something that you've never done or experienced on your own. You're not prepared for it, and that's not a Capricorn's, happy moment. They don't like to do things just like on the fly necessarily, unless they have like a strong arsenal of, I'm ready to take on whatever may come. So choose wisely is in the reverse. But you know what? Like what I'm getting right here, Capricorn, is like you're getting into this moment of like, you know what, maybe you're not using your best wisdom. You also have the Hermit in reverse, which choose wisely and the Hermit is pretty much the same thing. And, you know, they hold hands really, really well. And the Six of Swords just walking away, you know, like, I'm done crying over this. And that's what I'm getting from this. You're like, this could very well be a relationship. Like maybe you were waiting on somebody to, if this is a relationship, you were waiting on somebody to finally make the move, finally do the things that need to be done for the relationship, and it's just not happening. And you're like, I'm not seeing this go into any type of fruition of anything that was promised or anything like that. And, you know, you're like, I don't care if it's, I don't care about the consequences to this. I'm just going to walk away because, you know what, I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of being the one that has to recover from everything. And it's like, past trauma will do that to you. If you're not healed from your past, you're going to end up walking away from things instead, and to avoid the conflict. You're not even going to try. You're not even going to be interested. Is there a lesson? Is there something that's potentially good for me in this? You're not going to worry about it. You're going to be like, no, it don't feel good. It ain't making me feel great. Bye. All I'm worried about is keeping myself good. And Capricorn, that is a very personality specific part of you. But let's get you some advice going forward. You know, it's hard to tame and calm down a Capricorn and get them to vibe and mellow out, you know, when they're really wound tight on anything. I mean, that's the case it is for anybody, right? But for some reason, this is our stubbornness comes out real well in that. So don't be, you know, Capricorn, you don't really look for bright new beginnings typically, but you really need to relax. Not everything has to be perfect, you know, in order for you to enjoy it. You got the Sun card in reverse, the Fool card in reverse. Like, you're not real interested in, you know, something feeling good right now. You're just like interested in gaining, you know, with that material and spiritual prosperity, you're just interested in gaining back you. And there's nothing wrong with that, but remember we talked about sabotaging our successes? You know, you could be doing that as well. Like, you may not be looking for something to come up, but bye everyone, and thanks for stopping by. But you could very well be like throwing out the baby with the bathwater on this one. So don't do that. Don't do that, Capricorn. You know what? Take it as it comes. Cry it out. Move on to the next thing. Go step by step. Okay? Don't just say to hell with all of it. Just sit there and go, all right, this part sucked. Why did it suck? And go forward from there. All right? Take it bit by bit. I know that waiting game, right? You know, nobody likes that. But, you know, sometimes you need to do that in order to choose wisely. Maybe sometimes we need to dissect the layers. Okay? And Aquarius. 2 more signs, guys. We're almost done. I know we've been going at this for like 2 hours now, right? So, Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. Bottom of the deck energy is victory and success in the reverse. But the messages that you have are disruption, patience, and wisdom. So we could ponder the message from this point, which is disruption would be more like the Tower card. So things, you know, changing, evolving, coming to an end. Things like that. Very similar, but not really, because to the Death card, but not really, because these are just like big, boom, chaotic moments, as to where the Death card is more of the rebirth. So, and then we're gaining patience and wisdom from chaotic situations. But let's see what those chaotic situations are. Let's see what those disruptions are. Let's figure out what these messages are trying to say to us. For Aquarius, for January, the week of January 3rd. Alrighty. Let's clarify patience. And let's clarify with for Aquarius for the week of January 3rd. One more shuffle. Wisdom card. One more card for the wisdom card. Okay. So bottom of the deck energy for Knight of Cups, or for this deck is Knight of Cups, with victory and success. Sometimes we're so interested in moving forward with something, you know, and so certain about it. Emotionally, we feel certain about it that we end up like being a little too cocky. We end up being a little too emotionally driven, and sometimes that can really sabotage things. So disruption, we have 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups, and 4 of Swords in the reverse. So keep those 8s in mind since you have 2 of them under this Tower card. The 4 of Swords, you know, you're ready to move on from things. Like, you've worked really hard from this Tower moment is what I'm getting with this 8 of Pentacles. This 8 of Cups is, you know, the forward moving energy, leaving, you know, I've completed this. This is done. You know, I can't do any more here. Alright? So now we're moving on to this Patience card. And we got this Page of Wands and the Star card, which is your card, the Aquarian energy, and 4 of Wands. So with this, you're willing to wait for what you want to come forward from this. So you've experienced the rough and tumble. You've experienced what the energy of the past can do. You know, when things fall apart and stuff like that. You were like, okay, I know that I need to move on from this. I know that I can't hold on to this energy. And you're like, you know what? I don't want to just move forward. I want to move forward in the ways that are most beneficial and the most ascending for me. I want to move forward in ways that enrich my life as a whole, not just temporarily, but in long term. I want the longevity because I want that ultimate happiness with that 4 of Wands. And you want to be wiser for this. You don't want to keep making the same mistakes. You want to be able to move forward and apply it towards everything. You know, you don't want to sit there and go, okay, well, I was able to conquer this mountain. You want to learn how to climb every mountain. You want to learn how to conquer every hill, every mountain, everything that has a peak and a valley. So, 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. So, right now, this wisdom is costing you a lot. And you're feeling really trapped within stuff. You might even feel like you don't even have anybody in your corner. Walking away from this situation, you're like, this is costing me everything, but it's what I need to do. And let's get you some advice moving forward on this. Like, there's a somberness to this. It's one of those, like, you know, leading someone out of a situation where they're just like with their head down. And that's what I'm feeling from this. But you're like, I'm willing to put my head down temporarily for a long-term happiness. So let's get you some advice moving forward. It's going to take some work. You got that 10 of Wands. You got 7 of Pentacles with that hard work. That, you know, the 10 of Wands is carrying that bundle of sticks. He's like, you know what, I'm going all in. You are going to have what you are going to be able to look back and be like, okay, I know where all that hard work went. I know where all that patience and wisdom, it came into play. It came into fruition. You got the World card. So this is, you know, cycles completing. You know, you're not going to have to live this same cycle over again. And that's really good, because Aquarian energy, you know, sometimes we can be, because I have an Aquarian moon, that's a lot about my personality. And sometimes we can be like, you know what, I want the end goal to be amazing, but having to wait for it sucks, you know, because I feel like I've done all the work, I've been through this, I've done this, you know, but sometimes we just have to do that, and we know that. We know that, and we, you know, in any walk of life, you know, zodiac sign not specific, you know, we know that the lessons pay off when we allow the lessons to come through. So Aquarius, you know, you've had those rough moments. And the thing is, you have the map and you're looking at it. And sometimes there's a lot of people, we don't even get the map. You know, we don't get to see the map. And for some reason, you know, Aquarius is like, I've been through this path so much that I can basically draw the map. And emotionally, that doesn't make it feel better. You know that the process is going to be long and hard, and that it's a process. And you're like, oh, dang, I don't really want to deal with this. But, you know, the consequences of not dealing with it, and you know the reward for dealing with it. And so that's where I kind of see you going, Aquarius. So, all right, I think the messages for Aquarius came through. So let's move on to our Pisces. All right, messages for Pisces for the first week of January in 2022. I've actually got 4 cards, Pisces. Probably because you are that end of the zodiac. You got all kinds of stuff. You got to deal with all the other zodiac signs in your mix. We'll take both of them. So, underlying energy for it is balance in reverse. All right, prosperity begins in the reverse. You have choose wisely in the upright, and the 2 cards that came out together were the power card and the material and spiritual prosperity card. So strength, you know, in your material and spiritual, that card has come up quite a bit. But you're you know, the beginnings are always rough on anything, but the outcomes on this seem to be pretty glorious. So let's get some clarifiers here for this Prosperity Begins card. So it hasn't begun yet, but it's getting you ready for it. It wants you to choose wisely for when it does. You need to go in with this head and heart, not head over heart. So you got the Knight of Swords and you got the Knight of Cups. You need to go into this with your full head and your full heart. They need to match up for things to start flowing. And that 7 of Swords, you know, but you have it in reverse. So it's like, you know what, this isn't something that's taken away from you. That's something that's going to give to you. But you need to get on page. You need to get on board. So let's go ahead and clarify, choose wisely. Clarify the choose wisely card. For Pisces. Don't fall. Don't fall apart, Pisces. Let's keep it together here. These cards are kind of tiny though, so. Alright, let's try this again. Alright. And let's clarify this power and material and spiritual prosperity card. Alrighty. So bottom of the deck energy is death in reverse. So new beginnings quite haven't happened yet, which kind of goes with prosperity begins, right? Yeah? So they're really, really reinforcing each other here. So remember I said you got to go into stuff with your head and your heart aligned. So, you know, you got to go into this 100%, but you got to be ready to go into this. So you got to have the drive. Because so much isn't like, you know, it's like king and queen energy. It's not certainties, but it's like the driving factor. You need to get those things together. You need to get in that proper alignment of, you know what, I need to do this and why you need to do this and all of that. So in order for you to realize, you know, and materialize the prosperity to begin. So instead of worrying about what is being taken from you, you need to be more concerned with what it is and value what you have and what is actually in your corner. Choose wisely. Okay, so you got 6 of Cups, so that reminiscent energy, 9 of Wands, and 8 of Wands. So, you know what, yeah, it wants you to actually think backwards. It wants you to remember your past. It wants you to remember the things that you felt, you know, that you were at a loss for. You know, like things can't get better. You need to communicate with yourself. Communicate with your youth almost. Like, you know, go backwards and literally, you know, mentally, emotionally talk to yourself, you know, in those circumstances, in those time periods, and be like, all right, why didn't I do this way? Why didn't I, you know, you need to comfort yourself almost too. You need to comfort that younger version of yourself and understand why things happened the way that they did, why you made the choices you made, why your youthfulness or why that past energy did what it did, okay? So you have power and material and spiritual prosperity. So in order to gain what it is that you want, you know, the strength, you know, your inner strength, your ability to do what you need to do whenever you want to do it. You know, you got the Hermit card in reverse, you got the Fool card in reverse, and you've got the Empress on its side. And what I'm seeing here is you need to apply your wisdom. And you need to understand the process of things, even though you don't totally understand them. You need to understand that there is an understanding to the process. And there are layers. There are things that you need to have your head over heart with. Okay? Once you do, once you are ready, once you are hitting the ground running, in that more wiser sentiment, you know, you're going to find out that things happen with, you know, more understanding. You have more control. You have more abilities. You can actually create and make things happen. You can give birth to new ideas. You know, you can have those things come into fruition, though the control is within you with this Empress card. So, Pisces, you know, the reason why things aren't manifesting is because of you. Aren't we always our own roadblocks? But let's get some advice moving forward for you, okay? But, you know, this is some strong stuff. This is some strong things Pisces got going on. Like, this isn't, you know, short term, you know, first week of January. This is like, you're questioning, like, past life and next life, and it's deep, okay? This is some deep energy. Like, I think coming out of the whole epidemic thingy, you are like, no, if this is what life has got to give, this is not the dream that I had, I need to be the change I want to see. And this is like, it's like that monumentous for you, Pisces. I mean, it can be in the more smaller context, but this is stuff that, even if it was smaller, it's leading into a larger situation. Pisces, you really got to get back in touch with things that you align with. That's spiritual alignment. Alright? Let me explain to you why. You got the Two of Cups in reverse, but you have the King of Wands. You need to get you need to bring back those things that lined you. Don't just do everything with the vanity sense. Don't always think about just like you, just the way it looks, just the way it feels. This isn't a vanity thing. This isn't to empower you for the masses, for the the applaud of man. This is to empower you for you. Do it for the right reasons. Do them for you, not for like, oh, okay, well, it looks good. It's gonna make me a millionaire. It's gonna make me this. No, you need to do things for the internals. With that Two of Cups energy, proper alignment. That Ace of Swords in reverse, bearing false information, false thought. Come on now, you're better than that. Do things for the right reason, and then things are going to come into those amazing alignments. That's what that head and heart. Yeah, you got to do things for the reasons that are empowering to you for the right reasons, not for superficial reasons. Like, you're not going to come into $1 million just so you can go out and buy the latest Range Rover, okay? You're the type of person that comes into $1 million because you are going to be taking care of yourself and your family and investing that for furtherment of your children or whoever your heirs are. That's the reason why you're coming into that. You see what I mean by that? Like, those are the reasons why those building blocks are coming into play, why you're able to advance the way you're advancing. It's not so... It's like people who win the lottery. You guys remember MC Hammer when he won the lottery and like he blew all of his money and thought he could trust a lot of people and everything. He wasn't choosing wisely. He essentially went broke. And the reason that he went broke was because, he was doing things for like, no, this person ain't gonna lie to me. This person isn't gonna take from me. No, you're crazy. And that's what they were doing. They were preying on his vulnerabilities and from his trust and everything. But, if you're given things, and now the MC Hammer situation is a little different than this because in the sense of like you would be given the opportunity, but it's to you. The universe has aligned you with it for a reason, but if you're doing it for the falsification of self, you're going to lose it all. If you're doing it for the investment approach, investing in yourself, investing in your spirituality, investing in your in your life and investing in your future children's lives and things like that, then you won't just have a plant, you'll have a whole entire forest. So you can have one tree or you can have a forest. It's better for you to have the forest, okay? If it was just something for like, hey, you're going to come into like this ability and it's meant for you to just feel good about yourself, and if you come into this same prospect and it's meant to grow you in a way more substantial way that's far more beneficial, then I'm going to tell you that too. And I'm telling you, that is it. You're sitting here wanting things to begin. You want your prosperity to begin, and it's not because you're not in the proper alignment. Okay. This was a long stream, and I thank every single person who stayed up and joined me on this one. To the people who left likes, the 29 likes, I thank you all so much. To the 12 people in the chat right now, thank you so much for sticking through, for all the messages that came through for all 12 zodiac signs. I would like for you all to go and check out my awesome fiance Exploring with Fluffy's page. Please check out Uncle Butterbuns and King Jerry TV, Queen Laura TV. I have them linked in last week's video. This week I would like a huge shout out to go out to Paranormal Melissa and Paranormal Patrick. They do go live every Monday, roughly around 6 p.m. my time, 9 p.m. their time, and they're on the East Coast, whereas I'm on the West Coast. And tonight they had Scary Story Night, and I got to listen to a little bit of it before I got pulled away with some family drama. But they have an amazing channel, both of them do. They're amazing, sweet people, the best of hearts, the most genuine souls you could meet and ask for on YouTube and in life. And they do phenomenal things. They're really awesome people. And please do check them out. Subscribe to them if you haven't. If you aren't subscribed to me, please do so by going ahead and clicking subscribe, hitting that bell notification so you don't miss a live stream or up and coming videos. Also, if you'd be so kind to please leave a comment down below letting me know how this reading went for you. It's a little different this week. If you like this, please let me know. If you're like, this was long and drawn out, don't ever do it again, please also let me know that below. if this radiated with you at all, please let me know. It helps me be a better reader for you. And I wish everybody a amazing new year. I wish everybody all the prosperity in the entire world. The universe is endless, and it is all endless for you. You can do basically anything you, honest to God, want. And you should. You should get the ball rolling, get head over heart, and head and heart, and go forward. And if you had a dream, this is the year to see it through. At least get your feet wet with it. You know, if you wanted to learn how to cook French cuisine, this is the great year to maybe take an online course or get some French cuisine cooking books, and give it a try. You know, nobody came out an expert at anything, so give everything a shot. You know, give yourself the shot first, and then go forward and do what it is that you really want to do. Bring out those sides of you, those creative endeavors. Those things definitely need to be uncapped and let to go free. All right. So once again, I thank you all so very much, and I will see you